As a kid, I loved Golden Sun and Golden Sun: The Lost Age. I spent hours exploring the worlds, finding all the Jinn, and just pretty much experiencing everything that the world of Wayard has to offer. But now, almost 20 years later, after playing the original games on the Game Boy Advance, I can't help but think we really need some more Golden Sun. Golden Sun is a series that I love, and I would love to see it come back. So before we talk about how it can come back and why it needs to do so, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the Golden Sun series. You love these games. Would you love to see more? I would love to know. So let's talk about some of the reasons why it should come back, because man, we need it now more than ever. I want to see a return of the RPG mechanics in Golden Sun. The Golden Sun is more or less a traditional turn-based RPG at its core, but what sets it apart is its deep integration of the synergy system, which is Golden Sun's version of magic. In combat, synergy functions like spells used for dealing damage or healing or buffing allies. And outside of battle, this is pretty much the main point of Golden Sun, and what sets it apart from other JRPGs just in general is you can use it for puzzle solving and exploration. So you can use abilities like Move or Lift or Frost to manipulate objects or reveal hidden paths and navigate dungeons. This game gives like a Zelda-like feel as dungeons become interactive environments rather than just combat zones, and mastering synergy is essential to progress in Golden Sun. One of the other things that I really love about Golden Sun is the Jinn system, which adds a lot of depth to character customization. For example, Jinn are elemental creatures like earth, fire, wind, and water that you can collect throughout the game. So yes, it does also have a gotta catch 'em all type vibe to it. And assigning Jinn to party members not only affects their stats and available synergy, but also determines their class. In battle, Jinn can be used for various effects like attacking, buffing, debuffing, healing, standard stuff. But once used, they enter a set or standby or recovery state, temporarily altering your character's class and abilities. This mechanic introduces a dynamic ebb and flow type system to the combat, as you must balance short-term advantages with long-term consequences. And of course, when you use a certain number of Jinn, you can summon these amazing creatures and summons, which are one of the highlights of Golden Sun for me. And rounding out the experience are classic RPG staples like world exploration and turn-based encounters and gear upgrades, and there is so much stuff to do here. And while you do that, you're traveling across a rich, interconnected overworld filled with towns and secrets and dungeons. The battle system is menu driven, but in my opinion, it's super fast paced, especially with those summons like I mentioned before. Feels really meaningful as you progress the game. And as new synergy spells open up previously inaccessible areas, you are encouraged to backtrack and explore pretty much everything. And all these systems work in harmony to deliver a deeply satisfying RPG experience that blends classic design with innovative mechanics unique to Golden Sun. One of the highlight things of this series, I just love the gameplay of these games. So there's some story ends that we still need some resolution to in Golden Sun and The Lost Age. We'll talk about Dark Dawn here soon. While Golden Sun and The Lost Age do resolve the immediate conflict of restoring alchemy to the world, several compelling threads still kind of remain dangling, perhaps none more intriguing than the fate of Alex. Throughout both games, Alex manipulates events from the shadows, helping both sides at different points in his quest for ultimate power. After the Golden Sun is formed, Alex is shown absorbing an immense amount of energy at Mount Aleph, seemingly transcending mortal limits, but the game leaves his final fate ambiguous. Did he succeed in becoming something more than human? Is he now like a godlike being, or did he miscalculate the consequences of wielding such power? His disappearance at the climax of the story suggests unfinished business, and we do see him in Dark Dawn, but nothing is really said of how he got to that point. So it's a major loose end as far as I'm concerned. Another loose end involves the Wise One, the powerful guardian of Soul Sanctum. Initially presented as a divine protector of Wayard, the Wise One's actions are morally ambiguous at best. He deceives Isaac and his party into believing that lighting the elemental houses would bring ruin, when in reality it was necessary to prevent the world from slowly decaying without alchemy. His manipulation and willingness to pit heroes against one another raise questions about his true motives and whether he's really acting with the world's best interest. A future story could explore the consequences of his choices, his origin, whether he truly serves balance or just his idea of order. And lastly, we could also talk about, the very end of Golden Sun Dark Dawn. After we see the credits, there's this little post-credit scene where there's like a floating cube, and it is a completely unexplained event that teases a huge development, possibly linked to, I don't even know. I mean, there's just so many things within the context of these games that it could be linked to. Maybe even a remnant development of the Golden Sun itself. I mean, it is a classic narrative hook designed to lead into a sequel, and yet nothing has happened. Nothing has materialized all these years later. So combine this with the fate of Alex and some other things as well, like I mentioned, there's so many loose ends that honestly need to be tied up. As a fan of the series, I really want to know what happened. And by the way, if you're enjoying these kind of videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay in touch with every single video that comes out every week. Now, how could Golden Sun come back? Let's just say we are going to get more. Do we get a remake or do we get a continuation? So let's just say Camelot and Nintendo wanted to go ahead and remake these games. We could do it in a HD 2D art style similar to Octopath Traveler or Live Alive. The series' lush environments and elemental magic and rich dungeon design are a perfect fit for a high-res pixel art layered with dynamic lighting, 3D environments, and particle effects. Imagine any kind of synergy creating beautiful effects that complement the magic. The style could retain that nostalgic charm of the Game Boy Advance originals while enhancing the atmosphere with visual and modern flair. But I would also say if they're going to go that route, they probably just do 1 and 2 as like an HD remaster. And beyond the visuals, modern hardware could also take puzzle solving and world interaction to a new level. The original games already had creative uses for synergy in the environment, but for example, like a new title or maybe even an HD 2D remake could use more advanced physics, dynamic environments, or real-time manipulation for more immersive puzzles. So think of like tilting platforms or melting ice with fire synergy in real time, or growing vines dynamically with growth. Even the world map could evolve, offering seamless transitions between areas, optional regions that react to elemental changes, for example, or even weather systems tied to elemental alignment. So yeah, you could pretty much go as deep as you wanted to here with all of the visual flair. It would be awesome. Combat could also benefit immensely from some modernization with real-time transitions, enhanced animations. I mean, even the Jin system with summons could shine brighter than ever. Imagine cinematic summons that rival Final Fantasy's grandeur, or expanded Jin mechanics that incorporate combo effects or fusion of classes, add in quality of life improvements like fast travel. I mean, that would be amazing because I spent so much time backtracking from town to town to try and recruit Jin as the game progressed. And another thing as well that would be really interesting would be difficulty options. I know some of you guys out there like your super hard JRPGs, and imagine a difficult Golden Sun. That would be awesome, aside from the optional bosses just being the super hard ones. And if handled right, honestly, a HD 2D Golden Sun could be a major comeback that speaks to fans old and new. I mean, sign me up for that day one. The Golden Sun remake could also fill a noticeable gap in Nintendo's current first-party lineup. While Nintendo offers stellar RPG experiences or JRPG adjacent experiences like Fire Emblem or Xenoblade Chronicles, these games kind of skew towards tactical combat or grand-scale sci-fi fantasy. What's missing is a tighter turn-based adventure in the vein of classic Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest, but with that Nintendo touch, or Camelot touch, for example. Golden Sun, with its character-focused storytelling, elemental magic system, and puzzle-filled dungeons, is uniquely positioned to fill that gap. Moreover, the series' nostalgic value can't be overstated. The original games were beloved on the Game Boy Advance, and a modern remake could tap into some of that, Link's Awakening or Metroid Dread style resurgent, bringing back that classic gameplay that we're just craving. And there's a whole generation of Nintendo fans who grew up with Isaac and Garrett and Mia, for example, on Golden Sun 1, but have never seen the series represented on modern hardware, aside from coming to like Nintendo Switch Online, which is neither here nor there. And from a business perspective, I could say that Golden Sun is relatively low risk compared to creating like a brand new IP. The world, the lore, and the mechanics already exist, and the groundwork is very solid. It could also boost, for example, the Switch 2 library with a more traditional JRPG at a time when many of Nintendo's big franchises are, years in between releases. This could be a really great gap filler. I mean, not that this game should be a gap filler, because this is like a generational game if, we do see it at some stage. So even if it was going to be called like a mid-tier release, it would add diversity to the lineup and show that Nintendo is listening to its longtime fans. So in short, Golden Sun doesn't just deserve a remake, it fits the moment that it decides to land in. It is a, again, generational game that needs to be played. And this leads me to my last point. Golden Sun is still in demand all these years later. Fans haven't forgotten it. Whether it's Isaac getting some love in Smash Brothers as an assist trophy, or the community constantly asking for something on a sequel, especially post Dark Dawn, considering the way that ended, there is still an audience craving these games and craving that gameplay experience that Golden Sun has offered us for, the past 2 decades now. And after only playing Dark Dawn for the first time last year, I have to say it was a real letdown, considering I played Golden Sun 1 and 2 back to back and then played Dark Dawn. I don't think I was necessarily burned out on the Golden Sun formula, but that game just didn't really feel right to me, coming to it all these years later. So I'm still craving a very, unique Golden Sun experience, and Dark Dawn really didn't do it for me. And I know if you're a fan of the series, it likely didn't do it for you either. So there is still room here for Golden Sun to come back. Me as a lifelong fan of the series, I really want to see Golden Sun come back in one way or the other. And the perfect place for it to happen, honestly, is going to be on the Switch too. I don't know, hopefully somebody at Nintendo or Camelot or whoever sees this video and says, you know what, it's finally time to bring it back. I would love to be the catalyst for that. So thanks so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on Golden Sun, and we'll see you again in a couple of days for another video. Bye-bye.